Welcome back to the channel, folks. Tonight we delve into the darkest corners of human obsession. These are not just stories, they are real-life nightmares, whispered pleas for help lost in the echoing void of the internet. Tonight we shine a light on those pleas. Get ready for 3 very scary true stalker horror stories told from the perspective of the main character. The people who lived to tell the tale, the people who survived. It started subtly, a prickling at the back of my neck as I walked home from work late at night. A fleeting shadow, glimpsed in the periphery, always gone when I turned my head. Just your imagination, I told myself, my heart hammering against my ribs. But the feeling persisted. It grew stronger, more insistent with each passing day. My once peaceful walks became a tightrope walk of anxiety, every rustle of leaves, every distant car engine sending shivers down my spine. I started noticing things, small at first, easily dismissed. A misplaced book on my porch, the faint scent of cologne lingering in my doorway. Nothing concrete, but enough to set my nerves on edge. Then came the roses. A single, blood-red rose lying on my doorstep one morning. No note, no indication of who had left it. Just that single, beautiful, terrifying rose. My breath caught in my throat, my blood turning to ice. Someone was watching me. Someone knew where I lived. Fear, sharp and cold, gripped me in its clutches. I reported it to the police, of course, but without any concrete evidence, there was little they could do. "We'll keep an eye out," they assured me, but their words rang hollow in the face of my growing terror. The roses continued to appear, day after day, each one a stark reminder that I was being watched, hunted. My once familiar home became a prison, every creak and groan a potential threat. Sleep offered no escape, haunted by nightmares of shadowy figures and watchful eyes. I installed security cameras, changed my locks, but the feeling of dread only intensified. I was a prisoner in my own home, trapped in a nightmare of someone else's making. One evening, as the sun began its descent, casting long, menacing shadows across my living room floor, I noticed it, a faint scratching sound coming from my bedroom window. My blood ran cold. This wasn't my imagination, this was real. I crept towards the sound, my heart pounding in my chest, each step heavy with fear. Peeking through the curtains, I saw him. A tall, shadowy figure, his face obscured by the darkness, was attempting to pry open my bedroom window. Terror, raw and consuming, washed over me. I stumbled back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a scream. The figure heard the noise and turned, his eyes, 2 burning embers in the darkness, locking onto mine. I froze, paralyzed by fear, as our gazes met across the room. For a moment, neither of us moved. The only sound was the frantic beating of my own heart. Then, with a speed that belied his size, he was gone. Melting into the night as quickly as he had appeared, I collapsed to the floor, my body trembling uncontrollably. The police arrived soon after, alerted by my frantic call, but it was too late. He was gone. They never found him. The unseen shadow who had haunted my every waking moment. The fear, however, that never truly left. It lingers still, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of sight, a chilling testament to the monsters that walk among us. It began innocently enough, a wrong number late one evening. "Sorry," the voice on the other end chuckled, a deep, gravelly sound that sent an unexpected shiver down my spine. Must have dialed the wrong number. I thought nothing of it at the time, dismissing it as a harmless mistake, but the calls continued. Always at night, always that same deep, unsettling voice. At first it was just heavy breathing on the other end of the line. Silence, punctuated by the sound of someone else breathing, their life force pulsing through the receiver and into my ear. Then came the whispers. My name, spoken softly at first, then with increasing urgency. "I know where you live," he'd murmur, his voice a chilling caress in the darkness. My blood ran cold. Fear, like a living thing, coiled in the pit of my stomach. I changed my number, of course, but it didn't stop him. He always found me. "My new number," he'd rasp, each digit punctuated by a triumphant laugh. "You can't hide from me." The calls escalated. He described my every move, my every outfit, as if he were watching me. "That red dress looks lovely on you," he'd say, his voice a guttural purr. Panic choked my throat. I was living in a nightmare. The police were sympathetic but powerless. Without concrete threats, they said, their hands were tied. "Just hang up," they advised. But how could I? He was always there, lurking in the shadows, a constant, terrifying presence in my life. One night the phone rang. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the receiver, my heart pounding against my ribs. I knew it was him. "Hello?" I whispered, my voice trembling. "I'm coming for you," he breathed, his voice thick with anticipation. "I can see you." My breath hitched. I ran to the window, my gaze frantically searching the street below, and there he was, standing across the street, shrouded in shadows, but close enough to see. He was watching me. A triumphant grin spread across his face. He lifted his hand, a dark object glinting in the moonlight. The phone clattered to the floor. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I fled into the night, the sound of his laughter echoing in my ears. I spent weeks in hiding, terrified to answer my phone, terrified to be alone. The calls eventually stopped, but the fear, the unshakable feeling of being watched, never truly left. To this day I can still hear his voice, a chilling reminder that some nightmares don't end when you wake up. Chapter 3. The Silent Follower. Have you ever felt a gaze burning into you? So intense it felt like a physical touch. That's how it started. A prickling sensation at the nape of my neck, a feeling of unease that settled over me like a shroud. I'd glance over my shoulder, half expecting to see someone standing there, but there was never anyone there. Or so I thought. It started small, almost imperceptible, a fleeting glimpse of the same man, always lurking on the periphery of my vision, his face half hidden in shadows. At first I dismissed it as my imagination, a trick of the light, the city playing its usual game of smoke and mirrors. But the sightings became more frequent, bolder. He was always there, a silent shadow watching me from a distance. On crowded streets, in bustling cafes, his presence was a constant, unnerving reminder that I was being followed. He never spoke, never made a sound. It was his silence that terrified me the most. Who was he? What did he want? The questions gnawed at me, amplifying my fear with each passing encounter. I tried changing my routines, taking different routes home, but it was no use. He was always one step ahead, his presence a suffocating weight on my chest. I reported it to the police, of course, but without any evidence of a crime, they were powerless to help. "He's not doing anything wrong," they said, their words a hollow echo in the face of my growing terror. But he was doing something wrong. He was stealing my sense of safety, my peace of mind. He was turning my world into a prison of fear, and I was the only inmate. One rainy afternoon, as I hurried through the park, desperate to reach the safety of my apartment, I felt a presence behind me, close, too close. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't need to turn around to know who it was. I could practically feel his hot, ragged breath on my neck. Terror lent speed to my steps. I broke into a run, my heart pounding against my ribs, the sound of my own footsteps echoing in the deserted park. But he kept pace, his presence relentless, suffocating. I risked a glance over my shoulder. He was closer now, his face finally illuminated by a streetlight, twisted into a grotesque parody of a smile. His eyes, dark and vacant, bored into mine, sending a jolt of pure, primal fear through me. I screamed, a desperate, primal sound that tore from my throat. That's when he lunged. The last thing I remember before everything went black was the feeling of his cold, clammy hand clamping over my mouth, stifling my screams. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The police told me they found me unconscious in the park. They never caught him. The silent follower who had haunted my every move, but I know he's still out there, somewhere, watching, waiting, and that knowledge, that chilling certainty is a burden I carry with me every single day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling tales. Remember, These are real stories from real people who have endured unimaginable terror. Stay safe and always be aware of your surroundings. You never know who might be watching from the shadows.